Have you ever had one of those moments where you're sitting on the couch or lying in bed and you're scrolling on your phone, reading through all the news that's happening, all the bad things that are happening in the world, and there's this pit of fear in your stomach, this sense of dread, like something really bad is about to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the more you scroll, the worse you feel. You start to get overwhelmed and anxious, or you even start to go into the freeze response and shut down. It feels like the world is just spinning out of control, and all you can do is watch it happen helplessly. I remember one day doing exactly that, just reading the news, feeling like everything was totally out of control, feeling helpless, feeling small, feeling like the problems of the world are so big and so scary that there's nothing I could possibly do to help. And that pit of fear was just sitting in my stomach, filling me with this sense of impending doom. And this was when I was working on my first YouTube channel. And I remember going to the channel and reading some of the comments that I was getting. And they were saying things like, "This really helped me relax. This really helped my anxiety. I finally got to sleep last night because of your video." And that's when something clicked for me. That the same fear that I was feeling, I was actually helping reduce it for other people. And then I had another moment that led to a really deep insight. It was one night, really late. I couldn't sleep. I've had sleep issues since I was a child. And as I often do when I can't sleep, I was watching a ASMR Reiki channel that I really like. Just makes me feel really calm and relaxed. And as my body started to relax and settle down, I started to feel this really deep sense of gratitude for the creator of the channel. And I started thinking about leaving her a comment and what I might say in the comment. And that's when it hit me, this deep realization that I was having the same experience that other people have with my videos. And what I noticed in that moment was that something inside me shifted. I still knew what was happening in the world. I was still concerned about it. But I didn't feel so helpless. There was a sense inside of me that I can do something, even if it's small. When the world feels chaotic, often our response to that is to try and seek more control. And what that looks like in real life is scrolling more, reading more, trying to understand more. But often that just makes us feel more anxious and more afraid. And the problems look even bigger than before. What helped me wasn't understanding more, it was creating something. Because when we create something, even something very small, it shifts us out of that mode of feeling like we're at the mercy of everything in the world. And instead into a place of, I can do something. I can help someone. When I was just consuming the news, I really felt at the mercy of the world. I felt helpless and frozen and disconnected. And when I was creating, I still felt fear, but I didn't feel powerless anymore. I felt more in my body, more engaged, more alive. And it's not so much a way to avoid fear or escape what's happening in the news. It's a way to move from helplessness into participation. It's a way of adding something, however small, to the world. And it's a way to take a stand for the kind of world that you want to see. And over time, I started to see something else, that the people who are the most deeply affected by the world are also the ones who feel the most called to help. And maybe we aren't called to fix all of the world's problems, but we are called to help someone. Maybe to help calm them, maybe to feel more relaxed, maybe to feel like someone else understands them, or even giving them a moment that makes them feel a little lighter and gives them a little more sense of meaning in their life. And if a part of you is thinking, well, I'm not good enough to help anyone, I've had that thought too. But what I've found is, it's not about creating something great. It's about creating something that's effective, that communicates a message and helps someone, even in a very small way. So if you've been feeling weighed down by all of the scary stuff that's been happening in the world, and you want to try to create something, then I have a little invitation for you to try and create something small. Not something big or perfect, just something small, so small that you could start and finish it today. This isn't about creating a plan or trying to think of the right idea. This is about actually creating something on like a micro level. This could look like writing a few lines, recording a short message, putting an imperfect thought out into the world, or making something simple for someone you know. Now, this is where it can start to get a little bit difficult, because when we want to create something, all of those fears about visibility and being seen and being judged all can come up. And we can find many, many ways to avoid doing that even very small act of creating. And we often find things to do that seem important, that feel important, but they aren't actually doing the creative work that we are feeling called to do. And underneath it all, our mind is throwing things at us like, what if it's not safe to share something? What if I get judged? What if it's not good enough? What if I'm not good enough? So I'm curious what you do when you are avoiding creating something. Do you scroll on your phone or watch videos or even do chores? Or do you just tell yourself you'll get to it tomorrow, you're too busy today? Or I'm not in the right mood? Let me know in the comments. I would love to read about your experiences. This is something that I've lived through myself. When I created my first channel, if I didn't feel ready, I would come up with every excuse you can imagine not to record that day, not to create something that day. But I kept bringing myself back to doing something small, something that my nervous system could actually handle. And that's what helped me grow my first channel to over 17,000 subscribers and counting. And none of it ever felt too big or too overwhelming. And if this is something that you struggle with, that moment when you want to create something, but you start doing anything and everything else instead, I've put together a little practice that helps with this. It's the same practice that I use when I want to create something but don't feel ready. It's called the Creative Nervous System Check-In. It's a simple 5 to 7 minute process that helps you check in with your emotions and your nervous system and figure out what step you're ready for, whether that's creating something small or taking some time off without guilt. It's free, and there's a link in the description below if you'd like some support with this. So this act of creating something small It's a way to give your nervous system something real and meaningful, something that says, I'm not helpless or powerless. Even something very small can matter more than it might seem. It's like dropping a pebble into a pond. The pebble can be tiny, but there will be ripples. And you don't have to control or even see those ripples. You're just placing something into the world. That's it. And when we realize that we can create something, even something small, that's when things start to shift. But it can still be really hard to do this all on your own. Because when you try to create something, especially something that feels meaningful to you, those fears can come up very quickly. There can be a real sense of risk and danger, and that instinct to hide and to remain invisible can feel so strong. And that's a big part of why I do this work, because I know how difficult it can be when you feel called to create something meaningful, and at the same time, your nervous system is pushing back. There can be a real conflict inside of you. And that's why in my coaching practice, when I work with sensitive creators, the focus is never on pushing through or forcing yourself to perform. We focus on learning how to take slow, sustainable steps that work with our nervous system and feel supportive. So if you recognize yourself in this, and you don't want to keep navigating it all on your own, you can learn more about what I offer on my website. There's a link in the description. And I'm curious if something came to mind while you were watching this. What is one small thing that you can start and finish today? It could be something very simple. Feel free to share in the comments. I would love to read all about it, and it might really help other people who are looking for ideas. Or you can just keep it to yourself for now. That's totally valid as well. So in those moments when the world feels scary, if there's one thing to keep in mind, it's that when you create something, even something very small, it can help shift you out of helplessness and into something more grounded. So you don't have to fix the whole world, but you can participate in it. You can add a little something to it, and that matters more than you might think. By the way, I'm Isaac, and this channel is Deep by Design. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, then welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. Until the next one, be kind to yourself and take good care.